All right, welcome to another video content piece of content. I don't know. I've had beers. It's fine. It's fine. We got into a bit of a debate a few minutes ago about the differences, if there are any, between contract brewing and ghost kitchens. So we both kind of felt that that would be some good video content to have us go over. Argue fisticuff on camera about what the hell is the difference, or is there one?
Well, there's going to be an argument. We should get Stephen A. Smith. So let's see if the poor Stephen A. Smith shows up. Let's see.
All right.
Hello, Stephen. Okay, let's go. Okay, I am drinking a Carlsberg Rush. Boom.
I already got rid of my can because I wasn't.
You drinking,
ahead.
Julia?
I'm drinking Grainworks.
Burr.
It's a
Burr.
It's a cold IPA, not an IPL, not a cold lager. It's a
Well, thank you very much
IPA.
for inviting me. I was here because I got the call from Marco to see about the discussion about cold IPA.
Well, but we're not
Actually, the discussion about ghost kitchens.
Yes.
And I just wanted to let you know that I'm very, very, very informed, that I have talked to a lot of people, friends of mine, and people have reached out to me in the industry about ghost kitchens. And I want to tell you, that's the most ridiculous thing that I have ever heard in the world. All right, that is my limited fake
so-
Stephen A. Smith.
But you understand the potential collaboration's not the right word.
No,
hate beers.
it's exactly what they want.
Similarities between saying this is contract brewed versus this is made in a ghost kitchen. Like to me, I feel like they could be considered the same thing. But you, during the actual podcast, the non-video aspect of the podcast,
Right.
you had a different take on that, which, giving you credit, made a lot of sense. Do you want to recap that for us?
Do I?
You
Sure.
do. You do.
So basically, the bottom line that I put in the main pod episode, and all of you should get over and listen to the main pod episode.
Hell yeah, truthbeerpod.com, truthbeerpod.com.
Thank you. Hello. My point is that Ghost Kitchen's entire purpose is to misdirect the public into thinking, let's say, ABC chain restaurant is actually small USA wing company or whatever. Contract brewing is different in almost every case, in the sense of what they're doing is another place is trying to scale up and put out their product with their label, and it's just they're using the help of somebody else's manufacturing opportunity, and they're being able to go vertical with production. So this is not, let's say, this is not ABC Brewery trying to fool you into buying a product that they're branding under a separate name, like a ghost kitchen.
But I guess my argument or counter argument or playing devil's advocate, whatever you might want to say.
Play whatever you want to play,
I
Julia.
mean, again, you're not wrong. Like, I don't want this to be I 100% disagree. I see exactly what you're saying. But to me, a lot of places that contract brew, unless you read the label, and let's just say that it's a brewery that's based out of St. Louis, Missouri.
Never heard of any brewery out of St. Louis.
Exactly. Say there's a brewery in St. Louis, Missouri that's contract brewing. Unless you read the label, and I don't even know if legally they are required to tell people where the beer was made and produced and packaged. I have no idea. So
I know what they're not legally mandated to do is to tell you if it has lactose in it, but that's a totally different
that's
discussion.
a totally different
You
topic. But I mean, it's unless you are reading the label on the can and you see like produced in contract with or produced by ABC Brewing out of Cincinnati, Ohio.
AB who?
I'm just
Okay.
saying. I feel like there's not a lot of transparency necessarily for places that are contract brewing.
I think it's getting better.
I think it's getting better. I agree with that.
Yeah.
But you have St. Louis Brewing. I'm making this up. If there is a St. Louis Brewing out there, don't at me. Or at me, I don't know.
Or do you want to sponsor the pod?
Get some conversation going. But let's say St. Louis Brewery wants to scale up their production. They want to provide packaged beers, but they don't have the space to do so. So they contract brew St. Louis Brewing's IPA to Cincinnati Beverage Contract Brewing Company, whatever. I don't know. I'm making up a whole bunch of shit. You guys know what I'm talking about. Unless some breweries are good about actually letting people know on their website or in social media posts, like, hey, this is our recipe. This is 100% what we want to make. But because we are limited in what we can do production-wise, it is made at a completely different facility, potentially in a completely different state. We are not making this beer. We gave the recipe again.
Lasers.
The freaking lasers. Some places are good about saying, hey, yes, we want to sell this to the masses. We don't have the capacity to do so, so we are contracting out the brewing to this other company that has the capacity to do so. A lot of places, though, aren't good at that. And again, unless you read the label, unless you look at that fine print, you don't have any way of knowing that St. Louis Brewing's IPA is made somewhere other than St. Louis Brewing. Whereas at Ghost Kitchen, like, I see what you're saying. Ghost Kitchens, it is 100% opaque. You do not have any idea unless you look at potentially the address that it's made at and Google that address and see, oh, that address is Applebee's down the street. Right. Ghost Kitchens are very much more covert about that than contract brewing, because again, the labels, the label approvals, do they have to say where it's made versus where it's, the overarching, like, selling brewery. But I think that there is a good argument to be made that ghost kitchens and contract brewing in some instances are, I hate saying one and the same, but when you're not being honest with your customers about where something you are buying and consuming is coming from, how is it different? How is contract brewing different than ghost kitchens? If that brewery is not being honest to its consumers about who is making the actual beer that they drink, if it's not coming directly out of their tap room and out of the keg or the tanks that they have at their exact facility.
Well, what I would ask everybody is to be truthful and transparent to your consumers. And the other thing is that a brewery that is...
What's up, y'all?
What's up?
Hey, Matt.
Podcast.
Hell yeah.
I'll leave you alone.
We just need like 2 more minutes, man.
So what I would say too is that there's some crossover in a sense, right? So a lot of times a brewery that is contract brewing may take a product and say, I don't know, maybe a brewery's contract brewing a Hefeweizen for another brewery. Mm-hmm. And just for the sake of trying to run through batches and maybe split batching, maybe that Hefeweizen's on top at the contract brewing, the place that actually made it as, whatever, alligator Hefeweizen. But the place they're actually selling it to they brand it as their whatever. Mm-hmm. So yeah, in some cases it is the same beer, and although it's the recipe of the place that wanted the contract brew in the first place, right? The one that came to them and wanted to scale up.
So right.
That may happen, but that may happen solely because it makes sense from a dollars and cents standpoint to scale it to a certain degree so that they get it at a certain price, And so, in an effort for both tap rooms to fill a niche,
Niche.
okay,
Agreed to disagree.
that
Buffet.
yeah, I mean, sure, that they may do that, but ultimately, it's the recipe of the person that sought out the contract agreement. Ultimately, what you're getting is hopefully the version that they want and want to represent as the brewery that's approached to do the contracting, and there's not so much gray into saying, well, I wanted so and so's Hefeweizen, but it's not as good
You
as
wanted St. Louis's Hefeweizen, but you're actually getting Cincinnati Contract Brewing, whatever random name
Right.
I made up in the beginning of this. You're actually getting theirs. But if it's the same recipe, is it different? Does it make a difference as to what it's coming from? And bottom line, from that maybe 30,000-foot view, am I correct in saying that depending on the situation, sometimes contract brewing and ghost kitchens are one and the same?
I would disagree for the most part, but I understand. I understand the thought point, and also
And I
how.
understand yours. It's absolutely
Also, how
two-way
this could be a very juicy topic for a lot of people that could get bogged down in minutia and semantics, and I'm not. It's fun to start.
It's a fun conversation. It absolutely is.
It's fun to start that way, but honestly, I think it's a rather open and shut case in most cases. I think there are other cases where that may not be the same. PBR has been contract brewed by Miller for a long time, and I think over the past 2 years there was some litigation and things to where now PBR was going to not be brewed by Miller Coors, and then now is brewed. I don't know, it's whatever. But the point is, PBR is PBR. Right? Whether it is or isn't another beer, whether it's brewed to a scale to where it outbrews what PBR's demand is from a quality and freshness standpoint. So to move through that, they call it something else under the parent company that actually brewed it. I don't know, maybe. But to me, it's not at all the same as ABC Wing Company to get your DoorDash deal and then you finding out that it's Applebee's.
Applebee's. All right.
Yeah.
Well, hey, good conversation. I'm sure that it could be an entire hour-long podcast episode, but let's keep these videos around 15 minutes.
Sounds good.
While we're getting started and figuring stuff out. Thanks for watching our little debate. Let's go hang out with Matt and his wife and have a good time and drink some more beer. And
cheers, Julia.
Cheers, Marco. We'll see you guys next time.
See ya.